Hi, this is Lou Adler. Excited to be with you today to tell you about a new program I'm just ready to launch. It's based on the concept of how can job seekers really work with recruiters and let them understand what's really going on with recruiters. Understanding what recruiters do, how do you connect with them, how do you interact, what's the whole purpose of what they want. And the key thing that I would say for candidates is, how do I get an interview with the hiring manager? But who's Lou Adler? Who am I? Why am I even getting into this? I've been a recruiter for about 25 years. I now have a training company where we train recruiters around the world. I've written a couple books about hiring. My first one was an Amazon bestseller, Hire With Your Head. And I've written another one. It's a bit unusual book. It's called The Essential Guide for Hiring and Getting Hired. It's available on Amazon as a Kindle book right now. But the issue is this book is designed for candidates as well as hiring managers and recruiters. So it tells everybody what they're supposed to do. Unfortunately, what they're supposed to do is not usually what typically happens. So from a candidate, you've got an issue you've got to address right away. Is the recruiter, whom is going to be your first contact, regardless of what you do, generally you'll interface with a recruiter first, are they using the real job defining what the work is, or are they using a job description that emphasizes skills? Recruiters have a lot to do. They're busy working anywhere from 10 to 15 assignments. They're working, closing deals. They're arguing with hiring managers. They're pulled in a lot of different directions. They lead debriefing sessions after they meet candidates, which are sometimes very professional, sometimes not. But this is the world you, the candidate, has to understand. And one way to understand it is as soon as you start talking with a recruiter, are they evaluating your skills? Are they evaluating your ability to do the real work? And that's something very, very important, because sometimes they're evaluating the wrong thing. And if you don't have exactly the right skills to meet the job description needs, you're going to have to take control. And that's really important, understanding what recruiters do and the role that you can play to do a better job of presenting yourself. Well, first off, recruiters have to find people. Generally, they post ads on job boards in a lot of different places. They search for resume using Boolean. They get a lot of referrals. But you have to kind of understand how they look for people so you can position yourself to be found. But the thing that I discover that everybody makes mistakes on is there's a wrong way for hiring and there's a right way for hiring. When you really look at hiring, there's really four big buckets of information. The having bucket, which is on your resume, the skills you possess and experience. It's what's typically on the job description, which to my mind is the past. But a lot of filtering goes on to make sure you have the job has the right having and you have the right having. To me, you're excluding a lot of good people who don't have exactly the same set of skills that they perceive to be needed. The next bucket is the getting bucket. It's what a candidate gets on day one. They get a salary, they get a job, they get a location, they get a compensation package. And too much filtering goes on there on both the candidate side. Candidates say, what do I get? And recruiters say, what do you have before I tell you what I get? And a lot of games played on there. To me, it's a waste of time. What you should really consider is what are you going to be doing and what can you become if you do it well. That's the right way to hire. Evaluate the career opportunity before you worry about what you get and what you have. And I'm going to contend if you can do the work, you probably got exactly the right skills, but it's probably a slightly different mix of what's on the job description. And that's what you, the candidate, has to do to control your own destiny. So I'm going to give you some inside secrets. There is a way to control what goes on in the interview. You've got to get the recruiter to tell you about the real job. You have to ask about that. To do that, you got to be prepared. But if they ask about the real job, then you've got to tell that person about accomplishments that are related to the job. Then you've got to state your interest and ask about next steps. So a lot of stuff that we're going to be doing in this series, focusing on what those next steps are. The key is you got to control your destiny. You can control it if you understand how to prepare, understand what you want, understand how to get that interview and how to get that job. And that's what this whole series is really going to be about. So some of the next steps are you got to be found. We'll talk about how do you get your resume on the top of the heap? How do you get referred into a company through networking? What do you have to do to prepare? And let me tell you, there is some work. You have to prepare. This is not a game. This is serious business, and you do have to prepare. We're going to get into what it takes to prepare, what it takes to actually ace the interview. What do you do? How do you make sure that you're the one selected as one of the top 2 or 3 candidates? There are ways to do that. And if you focus on what you can do and become, the dollars will take care of themselves. Negotiation isn't about the most money. It's about the best job. You do those kinds of things, you're going to get the job you deserve. That's what this program is all about. Working with recruiters, understanding what you need to do to maximize the likelihood you'll be interviewed, likelihood you'll be hired. Good luck. I look forward to working with you on this great program. Thank you very much.